Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Psst, come on over here by the radio for a minute. I've got a secret to tell you. I'm back! Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. Here comes Kate Smith. And God bless America. Followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Oh, there she is. I missed that song. I missed everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, good morning. May we have the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, my little itty-bitty buddy, how you been?
Good. It's nice to hear from you again, sir.
Oh.
I'm glad you're back on the station.
Well, I appreciate it, and I hope all is well with you, and we'll talk more to you a little bit later on, but thank you, Wheels, for all you did.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, buddy. You take care. Holy smokes, it's time for our weather. And the weather's brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look, look, look for that blue door. And they've got lots of interior design, different ideas, thoughts, and everything to really individualize your home, personalize it. So check it out today. All your carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, here's the weather.
Expect more wet weather as we move through the week. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are in a flood warning that is going to be in effect at least until noon. They could extend that as we do have more rain showers in the forecast for at least the next 2 days. Today we're looking at 50% chance of rain showers, winds out of the south right around 17 miles an hour, high of 49 tonight, low of 43. Tomorrow, yes, more rain showers, about a 50% chance. Plus, the winds are going to be picking up to about 25 miles an hour out of the southwest. Warming up to 51, overnight low of 32. Cloudy and about 40 for Wednesday. Winds dying down just a little bit. Then we are expecting snow showers for Thursday and a high of 34. That is your weather on this President's Day for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow. We're going to get her one way or the other. Snow, rain, wind, hail, whatever. Thank you, Gina. I really missed listening to a very comprehensive weather forecast while I was gone. I think Gina does a very, very, very good job, and I appreciate it. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door, 678-6945, the number to call. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you about our dear friends at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. They are the best, and I do not say this lightly. I mean it. Of all the places I've traveled to, all the places I've stayed, all the places I've taken my clothes to over my career of going all over the United States and Canada, they're the best. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. You be sure and stop in today and take your rumply crumplies in there, and they'll come back to you looking brand spanking new. Daryl's Cleaners in Burley, the best. A couple of notes that I want to address right off the bat this morning. First of all, this past Saturday, was Deanne's birthday. And I know that Deanne wanted to say thank you to everybody who sent birthday cards, emails, everything, calls. Excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat this morning. But she says thank you to everybody. God bless all the folks that really thought about her on her birthday Saturday. And I want to just say how good it is to be back. And I want to thank the good Lord for the last 3 weeks. We needed that time. We absolutely needed that time, Deanne and I. And I want to say thank you to, of course, Gina and Sharon and my itty-bitty buddy over there, Wills. Wills, you did an outstanding job, always running the board the way it should be run, running the program. And I want to say thank you to all my sponsors, and I want to thank you to the audience. While we were gone, we had a lot of emails and calls and well wishes. And thank you, everybody. You are the best. Thank you, one and all. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Good morning, Rita, Glenn, everybody else. They've got all your heating and electrical needs right there at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Now, they throw open the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday. And believe me, and by the way, we're not done with winter. We're not done with using that furnace. We're not done with making sure it runs efficiently. They've got all your furnace fillers right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Well, good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Welcome home and a happy birthday to Deanne. The first I've heard that she had a birthday.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony, I got your message on my phone, and I apologize for not returning the call. Please take my apology. But God bless you and Mary, and thank you for all your kind thoughts.
Oh, just a little thought of my own this morning. For all the millions and millions of people out there who voted to bring Donald Trump in, do what I'm going to start doing. I am going to call every week. I'm calling out 3 senators, and we're going to let these senators know that they're going to end up on the unemployment line if they don't get together and pull the Republican Party back to where it should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know something, Tony? We need more people like you. I know people like you and Doug and a lot of folks want to hold, and Randy, they want to hold the feet to the fire, if you will, of our elected officials to make sure they do the job that they were elected to serve their constituents. And I say more power to you. And if there is a problem or you feel slighted or shortchanged, you call me and I'll personally get them somehow on the air and I'll let them know about it.
That's what it's going to take to bring this country together, and I hate to see it fall apart. And, you know, what disturbs me the most is people that are on Social Security or looking forward to Social Security. All these foreigners pouring in here, getting all the gratuities, and you and I end up paying for it, and we won't get a raise in our Social Security ever if this thing continues.
I agree with you. And I'm going to watch it like a hawk. I make a promise to you, Tony, and to all my listeners that after this little time off, I feel refreshed. I feel reinvigorated. I feel like I really want to bite the big dog that's trying to bite us. And I will go after anybody on the air that needs chasing after. Believe me, Tony, call me and let me know, and I'll help any way I can.
Okay, the backup ladies you had, they did a wonderful job while you were gone.
I know they do. And I really salute Sharon and Gina, and I say thank you, but thank you's not even enough for what they do. And thanks, Tony. God bless you and Mary.
Okay, happy birthday to Deanne.
All right, thank you so much. Wheels, we got just a little bit of feedback this morning, just a little bit on that line. Not too bad, but just a little to be annoying if you'd check on that. Hey, don't forget Denny's Restaurant. Oh, I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to doing this ad for America's Diner. The very best of breakfast. The very best of all kinds of different pancakes. Oh, the very best of lunches and dinners. The very best and nicest of people. Oh, my goodness, what are you waiting for? Get over there today. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and also 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. And we're going to have our lunch bunch over there this Thursday. I mean, I just get back in the first week. We've got lunch bunch. I can't wait to see all the lunch bunchers. Be there Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it at Denny's Restaurant in Burley, America's Diner. I can honestly tell you this, now that I'm back, I have got to start a schedule. Listen up, Nick, over there at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. On my leg. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got to get over there at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Yep, helping you get back to being you and me. Anyhow, give him a call, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Nick Greenwell heads up all the physical therapists there, serving you with the best of exercises and that hydrotherapy pool. Excellent, excellent, excellent. At Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, come on, call me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It is President's Day, and today I will say frequently, God bless America, and God bless President Trump. If you're offended by that, God bless America, and God bless President Trump, you're listening to the wrong program because, man, I'll tell you, with all the nitpicking and all the lies and all the false and fake news created and generated by major network news departments, I absolutely say God bless America and God bless President Trump. Oh, and by the way, I'd really like the ladies in the audience to give me a call on this morning. I was watching a rally over the weekend with Melania Trump, Donald Trump's wife, and she got up and she delivered the Lord's Prayer. And the liberal left is absolutely jumping into fire, and they're screaming, oh, terrible, how dare she say the Lord's Prayer? Why, separation of church and state, oh, this is horrible. Why? What is wrong with standing up at a rally and starting off her remarks with the Lord's Prayer? Then the left came out and said, oh, but she read it. She didn't know it. She's not a Christian. Let me tell those on the left that are challenged to think correctly that ministers, pastors, rabbis, church leaders that get up and do a sermon and service, whatever it might be, all have what are called cheat sheets or notes and references so that they do not make a mistake on very important issues. I'll personally say that I made a mistake on this program, and Wheels remembers it. It was about a year ago when I was doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And I omitted the word indivisible. Oh, Zeb, you're a terrible American. How could you forget that word indivisible? Well, I was very embarrassed about it. But you see, the point is that no matter how many times you say something, no matter how many times you recite something from memory, there is always going to be that little brain bubble that is going to come forward, unless you're on the left and you're perfect, which the left thinks they are. There's always going to be that chance for, oh, look out, here we come with these words, human error. Oh, the left thinks they're perfect. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, my friend.
Well, there he is. 18 wheels a turning.
Not today.
Okay, buddy. What's going on?
But, I've been listening to that stuff about Melania and stuff like that. And the other thing is how people make fun of her because of her accent.
Yes.
And everything. She is one of the most intelligent women out there. She knows, 5 or 7 languages. Nobody gets up there and just says a prayer. Of course she read it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even the preachers and stuff like that, they've got up during the, I can't think now.
The World Day of Prayer.
When Trump inauguration.
Right.
And that,
right.
They read everything.
Right.
They didn't have it all on memory. And when you're in front of that many people, you don't want to mess up. You want to be able to say it word for word. Doesn't matter what it is. And I think she did a great job.
I do, too. And, go back to what you said in the beginning of your conversation where a lot of people are making fun of her accent. Let's not forget, Democrats, for say that they not forget about Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's wife, did she not have that Parisian or attitude and accent of the Europeans? Yes, she did.
Yep, she did. I mean, they just got to find something to pick on, and they're going to do whatever they can and pick on whoever they can to disrupt this situation, and it's deplorable.
Well, when somebody on the left sits there and decries and just bemoans the fact that the First Lady, and she is the First Lady, gets up at a rally and gives the Lord's Prayer, it almost makes me wonder, and I've got to ask you this, Kilt Man, it almost makes me wonder, is the left, as a group, are they all anti-Christian to where they absolutely can't stand to hear the Lord's Prayer?
Sure seems like it's getting that way. It really does. Seems like it's getting that way.
It does. It does. You know what? I'll be seeing you and your lovely wife, Lori, later on this afternoon. It's good to have you back. Thanks. I appreciate your call, Kilt Man. Thanks. All right, buddy. Take care. Bye. Yeah, is it a sign of the apocalypse? Is it a sign of something that they stand for or adhere to on the liberal left, the Democrats? Oh, the Lord's Prayer. My goodness. How can she do that? Is that really what their stance is? Call me, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, for all your equipment needs, and oh boy, do I need some equipment after, I know things are pretty wet out here. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Barry Equipment and Rental, and they've got 3 locations, Jerome, Burley, and Twin Falls. And the location at the 159 West Highway 30 location, they have all the equipment to get the job done right. Stop in and check out the equipment rentals. Stop in and check out the retail equipment sales. All of this and more with people that have, like I say, the equipment to get the job done right. And check out also, right now it's Get Ready for Spring with the Walker Mowers. Absolutely 0% interest for 48 months. Barry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I want to say this because we were not available when all of the tragedies of the flooding occurred here in southern Idaho. I think Deanne and I, we absolutely want to issue our thoughts and prayers to everyone. And some of you folks have really, really suffered and have been stressed out by what has occurred. And if there's any way, and I mean this, if there's any way that I or this program can be of benefit to help you, your situation, your community, or whatever, all I need is a phone call. And I really would appreciate letting me know, because both Deanna and I, we do offer our prayers and thoughts to you, because we had a lot of our friends that called and said, man, we're just on the verge of complete chaos with the flooding, etc. And I saw some of the pictures and everything, and my heart goes out to all of you. And that's not meant to sound at all trite. I'm just being very honest. My heart goes out to you folks for what you've suffered through. And man, oh man, like I said, if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What, Deanna, is somebody out there right now? Huh, I'll be darned. I didn't know that. Deanne just handed me a note. Somebody's sitting in my yard. I don't know why. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please give me a call. And I'd like to visit with you about any and all the subjects that are in the news this morning on this President's Day. My dear friend Ron Ellis sent me a little note, and I laughed and laughed, because this is actually what happened to me over the last 3 weeks. He says, quote, my kids bought me a GPS for my last birthday because they say I get lost every now and then going over to the grocery store or the library. I keep that in a box under my tool bench with the Bluetooth, and that I'm supposed to use when I drive. I wore it once and was standing in line at Barnes & Noble talking to my wife, and everyone in the nearest 50 yards was glaring at me. I had to take my hearing aid out to use it, and I got a little loud. And here's the part. Hold on, caller. Don't go away, please. Here's the part about what Ron sent us on GPSs that really is true. He said, the GPS looks pretty smart on my dashboard, but the lady inside that gadget was the most annoying, rudest person I had run into in a long time. Every 10 minutes, she would sarcastically say, recalculating. How true that is. Oh, boy. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Bell, and welcome back. We missed you.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't think for 5 seconds I didn't miss you, all the callers in this program I did. What is going on in your world?
Well, I'm off today, sitting at home, looking at the wind blow the trees around.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, we had a pretty good weekend, and then I wanted to say that, yeah, I heard about that Lord's Prayer thing, and I was thinking to myself, oh, the libs are going to lose their mind over this one.
But why? Why? Why would anyone honestly answer this question in a society that is a dominant Christian society, the United States of America? Why would the left take a stance of being absolutely against the Lord's Prayer? Explain that to me.
Well, I think it's because they are so attached to this diversity thing, you know, and, oh, it's going to offend the immigrants that are coming in type stuff. Well, I believe in immigration, legal immigration, that is, and I also believe that somebody wants to come to this country. They want to come here to be an American and assimilate into our society. Don't bring your backwards, you know, culture that is against our culture with you and try to make us abide by it.
Yeah.
You know, come here and become an American, assimilate into our system, and, you know, stuff like that.
Let me just interject.
It just annoys me that when, like in Michigan, there's certain areas where if you're a white American, you better not go down them streets.
Yeah. Let me just say this, that, hold on, Deanne's handing me a... Okay, I can go on with that. Thank you, Deanne. I appreciate that. No more notes while I'm on the air, please. Thank you very much. Let me just ask you this. Are you ever going to apologize? I don't think you are. I won't, for anyone saying the Lord's Prayer. I don't think we should have to. And those that don't like it, they have the option of walking away or just fuming and stewing in their own juices, because I couldn't care less.
No, I will not apologize for the Lord's Prayer because I'm a good Christian. You know, I don't see any reason to apologize for it, at least from my point of view. You know, if somebody doesn't like the Lord's Prayer, well, they don't have to listen to it.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts as always. It's a welcome party for me to come back and listen to all you folks. Thank you very much for your call. I got to get a break in. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
On Thursday.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Calls are welcome and appreciate. I'm never going to apologize for someone. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think what I'll do is have a special segment. I'm thinking about putting together a religious segment on my program on Thursdays. And for those that don't like it, I'm just waiting to see what they're going to say and what they're going to do. It's going to be fun. Hey, don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. Oh, my goodness. She knows all about sound, all about hearing. And if you're having hearing loss, you better get it checked out today. She is absolutely the best. And hearing, of course, very critical for all of our communications. She is the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Call for an appointment today, and that number 312-0957. Really, really nice people. Let's give away some cookies. Oh, man, Sophie's Restaurant, Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness sakes, we're going to give away some delicious cookies. And if you're the lucky winner, all you have to do is call them and let them know when you're going to be over there to pick your cookies up. The number 436-0354. That number again, 436-0354. Sophie's Chatterbox Restaurant and Bakery. Deanne, dozen cookies this morning, right? And here we go with our question. Who was, and this is fitting for President's Day, who was the shortest American president? Not very tall in stature. Who was America's shortest president, at least so far? Somebody call me with that right now. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And we'd love to see who the winner is going to be. Hey, come on, give me a call. Who was America's shortest president? And I got a guy that walked in the studio right now, and he's contemplating. He's rolling his eyes up at the ceiling. He's trying to meditate. He's trying to come up with the answer. Hello, my friend. How are you? Get close to that microphone.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hold on just a second. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
James Madison.
Who is this?
Well, welcome back, Zed. My gosh, didn't you need an escort on your trip?
No.
It's your buddy from over here.
No, I appreciate it. Adrian Arp is the winner of our cookies, and Adrian called them at 436-0354. Let them know when you're going to be in to get your cookies, because it was James Madison. He was only 5'4".
Yeah, he's short, but what a brilliant guy.
Yeah, he was.
It's true. Give me that number again.
Okay, it's 436-0354.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
I didn't have a pen to write it down. Anyway, I'm glad you had a good trip. You had a lot of excitement around here while you were gone, to say the least.
Well, I know that, and I've got one of the guys involved in that excitement waiting to go on the air with me here in the studio, and we're going to find out more. But, Adrian, please call me after the program. I need to get you scheduled to come out and talk about Trump and other things, so I appreciate it. God bless you, man.
Yeah, can I make a comment while I'm on the air here? Because we have a top-down situation. The Conference of States is pushing Scott Bedke and the leadership of our state legislature to have an Idaho call for a constitutional convention.
Yeah.
I mean, James Madison, Washington, and Jefferson, the rest of them got to be turning over in their grave to think that we would even consider that. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous, and yet there is no people input that
want it here in the state. It's a top-down deal. And we only had one constitutional convention, as you well know, and that was to revise the Articles of Confederation. They threw those away and started over. Do we have any geniuses like the Madisons and Washingtons today? No. And George Soros is pumping a lot of money behind the scenes into this thing because they want to get their hands on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
I agree with you, but right...
Stop it. Get hold of Bedke and tell him where's he getting this input that's so good that it's going to destroy the present Constitution, because they can't limit the agenda.
I go.
It's just always the law professor.
I'm going to have Scott Bedke on my program on Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Adrian, got to run. I got another call waiting. Thank you so much. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, everybody get hold of Bedke and the rest of the crew, because they got to stop this nonsense. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Enjoy your cookies. Thank you. Caller, stand by. I'll be right with you. I want to remind everybody on Tuesdays, of course, it's Dr. History, brought to you by Minicacia Sales. Oh, my goodness. How are they? They're great folks over there at Minicacia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Yep. Hey, are you in the market for an overhead door? Stop in a Minicacia Sales. Look at all the different overhead doors that they can show you and have installed. Remember, replace and upgrade your windows. We got a lot of winter left, and you want to keep the cold air outside, the warm air inside. You check it out with Zach today. Call them at 878-2091. Minicacia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Caller, you're on the air. Real quick. Go ahead, please.
Just a quick thought. Legal or illegal, most of the people coming from south of the border, and that includes South America, are, I am assuming, Catholic. And guess what they recite in the Catholic Church? The Lord's Prayer. So I don't think all immigrants, legal or illegal, are offended.
Well, but the left seems to carry this as a flag, my dear, that all of a sudden, if someone like the First Lady that does have an accent, they go after her and say basically that she's unqualified to deliver the Lord's Prayer rally. My goodness, that's going as low as you can get on the totem pole as far as I'm concerned.
Well, people from Boston have a pretty good accent, too, if you ask us Westerners.
Good analogy. Hey, God bless you. Thanks so much. All right, take care. Thank you. In the studio with me is a young man. By the way, I understand you just made a delivery. What are you doing? Whoop, wait a minute. Now you're breaking. Go from the top down. Now he snaps it. Did anybody hear that? Yes, I did. Hello, D. Hunsaker.
How are you, Zeb?
I'm good. Hey, while I've got you here on the program this morning, you are still the mayor of Murtaugh.
Correct.
Okay. Now, give us a little update as to what is the status with the flooding right here in this area.
Well, fortunately, I think we may be kind of on the downhill side.
Okay.
Most of the frost is out of the ground here.
Right.
But what happened 2 and 3 weeks ago was devastating.
Now, I was not here, and you kept me updated, as a matter of fact, and I certainly appreciate that. When you say devastating, I mean, how bad was it here? I know other areas in the Cassia County area, Minidoka County area, really, really bad. How did we fare here in this area of Murtaugh?
Well, the folks in Cassia County, out in the Malta area, over Minidoka that's going through it right now, they can understand when you say that there's 2 feet of water over the road and you can't see where the road is for a half a mile.
Oh, wow.
They know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow, half a mile.
And these roads, unfortunately, these roads are just beat to pieces.
Yeah.
There's going to be nothing
They were
left.
bad before all this happened.
Yeah, and there's just going to be nothing left. And, Governor Otter was down last week.
Did you go to that meeting?
I did not. I had another meeting I had to get to that I just couldn't get out of.
I see.
So
I know you had told me you were going to try to run over.
Yeah. But we did give some information to Jackie Fry, and so did the Highway District, as to what kind of devastation that they had out here and what it would take to just try and get some roads repaired.
Yeah.
So we won't. Otherwise, honestly, we'll be back to gravel roads.
Maybe that's not such a bad idea for the time that it takes to get some more infrastructure money. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, I would agree. I would think that a lot of course, the main highways, there's got to be something done.
Oh, the Highway 30 is a disaster.
Yeah, you take your life in your own hands when you drive from Burley to Kimberly.
I just talked to somebody yesterday, as a matter of fact, after we got home from church, they called, and they said that when you're on the westbound lane of Highway 30 headed towards Hanson, like here in the Murtaugh area, etc., it's so bad that they were behind a vehicle the other evening at dusk when that vehicle swerved to the left into the oncoming lane to miss some potholes that were big enough to swallow a Volkswagen and just barely missed a head-on collision.
Does not surprise me. We've had numerous cars that have been off the road and upside down and broken tires, rims, and I understand that, it's an unfortunate incident, and these potholes are horrible, and they're due to nobody's fault except the weather.
Yeah.
But by the same token, we need to understand that something needs to happen to fix those.
Well, you got to have a certain 5-letter word, and that's money. And quite frankly, the budget, I would assume, I'm making an assumption here, D, is whether it's Idaho Department of Transportation or whether it's the Murtaugh Highway District or any highway district, how in the world are you going to come up with the money to fix everything?
Well, as I said, when I don't know what our highway district budget is, but let's say it's $50,000.
That's not going to cut it.
And all of a sudden, you got to have $250,000 to $500,000.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find it?
Yeah. And the roads are bad all over. I mean, we've heard circumstances of county roads, gravel roads, basically separating and having traffic accidents like you and I talked about the other day. And Highway 30, the interstate is falling apart. Our infrastructure, as far as our roads are concerned, I've never seen them this bad in the time that I've lived here, and I moved here in 1969. Am I wrong?
No, I would have to agree. And unfortunately, I think that somehow it's time for the federal government to figure out a plan. I mean, that's why we're supposed to have more taxes on our gas, and that's why we're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? And so all these things were supposed to take place so that we would have the money to keep this infrastructure up, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah, stay with me just a minute. I got to do some commercials, and I'm going to have more. Dee Hunsaker in my studio this morning, the mayor of Murtaugh. I mean, that just kind of rolls right off your tongue. The mayor of Murtaugh. Stand by. I'll have more in just a minute, and calls are welcome. Don't forget my buddy Cordell Sheridan. He and his wife Patty are going to have another great big bull sale. It's coming up on March 4th, and it's going to be at the Burley Auction Yard in Burley. Holy cow, 85 of the best doggone bulls you've ever seen. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale, 22nd annual bull sale, and it starts at 1 o'clock on March 4th. And their program emphasizes calving ease, structural soundness, udder quality, growth, and moderate framed, easy keeping cattle. Cordell and Patty Sheridan. Number to call for more information, 824-5531. Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale. Absolutely the best. Right now it's time for our weather forecast real fast, brought to you by Urgent Care. 3 Urgent Cares in the area serving you. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East, Twin Falls. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Yep, minor emergencies. Major Care. They can really help you and your family. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Expect more wet weather as we move through the week. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are in a flood warning that is going to be in effect at least until noon. They could extend that as we do have more rain showers in the forecast for at least the next 2 days. Today we're looking at 50% chance of rain showers, winds out of the south right around 17 miles an hour, high of 49, tonight low of 43. Tomorrow, yes, more rain showers, about a 50% chance, plus the winds are going to be picking up to about 25 miles an hour out of the southwest, warming up to 51, overnight low of 32. Cloudy and about 40 for Wednesday. Winds dying down just a little bit, then we are expecting snow showers for Thursday and a high of 34. That is your weather on this President's Day for Zeb at the Ranch.
Gee, sounds really yucky. I'll tell you what. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Kyle and his crew always there 7 days a week. And remember, minor emergencies, major care. Dee, as a mayor, and this kind of is an all-encompassing question, whether it's Albion or whether it's any other small town, small community, do you as a mayor have the same problems as perhaps other people would have in larger areas? I mean, what do you have to do to ensure the safety of the infrastructure for the township, if you will, of Murtaugh?
Well, Zeb, we're no different than any other city, other than we just have a different budget.
Right.
But I've got some road issues that's going to take place this coming spring when everything gets dried out. We're going to have some roads that we've got to do some repairs on, and we've got to go figure out how we're going to get some money shuffled around in our budget to see if we can do what we need to do.
What does a small community do? I mean, how can you increase a budget that already, and caller, I'll be right with you, stand by, with a budget that's already strapped to the limits?
Well, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
You look and see what other things you maybe can do without
this year. Is it
kind
of a rob Peter to pay Paul type thing?
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah. And that's what you're going to have to do this year.
Yeah, we will.
Stand by. Let's take a call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, my buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good, dodging potholes.
Well, let me tell you, you can't miss them all, so brace yourself, partner.
I know it. The poor tire shops and the front-end alignment shops are raking it in.
You know, I got to tell you, the other night I took my wife out to eat for her birthday, and on the way home, I thought I had remembered where all the potholes were that I needed to swerve from. Au contraire, my dear friend. I put us both up on the dashboard one time, I'll tell you that.
Oh, they're terrible. Especially down here through Hayburn, they got one lane blocked off about half the way through Hayburn and half going into Burley by the airport.
Oh my! Well, what else is going on in your world this morning, my friend?
Oh, a lot of stuff. McCain and a whole bunch of other stuff.
You know, I've got a little bit here with Dee I want to talk about, but I'll tell you something. John McCain, as far as I am concerned, and I can say this to you, Doug, with absolute certainty. I talked to many, many people in Arizona about John McCain, and I can tell you this. I think I'll round the numbers off at about 20 different people. I never found one that was a resident of the state that wanted his retention as their state senator.
I believe you 100%, because I tell you what, he's gone off the deep end.
Well, he's
not a Republican. He's not for this country.
He's done a lot, and
he's sold himself out.
I agree with that. He's done a lot in the last 48 hours to portray himself as kind of a Grinch, and to the point where he's come out and he's denigrated Trump and said, oh, well, he's just going to turn into a dictator, and he's said other things that have alienated other members of the Republican Party. You know, at a time when there needs to be more party unison attitudes as far as, standing behind the party and trying to make it grow, trying to make things right for America, he's kind of like stealing pieces out of the jigsaw puzzle and causing problems.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. And, and in his resume, he run against the worst president in the United States and couldn't beat him.
No kidding.
Yeah. That tells you a lot about him, too. He's a nobody.
Well, and there's a lot of people down in Arizona that wished he would have been turned out to pasture a long time ago.
I know it. That's where the uninformed voter comes in.
Amen. Hey, it's good to be back. It's good to hear from you. God's blessings to you and your family. Take care.
All righty.
All right, take care. Thanks, Doug. Dee, talking about budgets and robbing Peter to pay Paul for the roads, what other issues affiliated with the weather other than the infrastructure and the roads? I mean, are there other problems you got to look at, too?
Well, yeah, definitely. We have to be careful that our sewer systems doesn't get contaminated, water systems don't get contaminated.
Yeah.
Those are real issues.
Yeah.
Real issues in every city that's having a flooding issue right now. I can guarantee you that's first and foremost on their minds.
So what are the answers?
Well, sometimes it's just cross your fingers and pray that you don't have a problem, because there's some things that are out of your control.
Yeah. When you say the sewer issues, and people look at Murtaugh and they say, oh, well, it's just a really small community. But really, the problems on a percentage basis are the same here as they would be in Twin Falls, are they not?
Absolutely. we've redone ours out here, but that doesn't mean that, you have 2 million gallons of water headed down and that goes into your drains that you have no control over, and you got to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to make things work, and that your banks on your sewer systems don't overflow. And there's a lot of real issues out there.
You mentioned earlier in the conversation, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you said the problem is minimized. I'm adding my own words right now. The problem is minimized, but it isn't going away just yet. What are your concerns right now about that weather forecast we heard a few moments ago?
Well, you just look around in the Magic Valley and in western Idaho. Some of those places up the Sun Valley, those areas, that some of them places still have 5 foot of snow.
That's right.
Okay, I don't know what there is still over in the Minidoka County over there, but there's still snow on the ground. Some of those places have got 2 and 3, 4 feet deep of water right now.
So we could be seeing an exacerbation of the problem, not necessarily in this area, but other areas, and the whole doggone area is going to suffer.
Yeah, and we don't know what the snowpack is still up here in the South Hills.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We could have a huge runoff come down. Oakley still could be having some issues with the reservoir.
And that's a question I'm going to be talking to Under Sheriff George Worrell about this morning at 10:06. How safe is that Oakley Reservoir right now, I wonder?
Well, I think those guys have got on that, and they've done a tremendous job over there.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything that can be done is being done.
And that would, now, I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to cry wolf and sound the alarm, but if something happened up there at Oakley with that reservoir, it could affect us right here. We're kind of in that channel, are we not?
Yeah, I don't know if they're still dumping water. They started dumping water down that channel that comes into Murtaugh Lake.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
And I went by the lake the other day, and we looked after our conversation. It doesn't look like you can take a whole bunch more water over there.
Yeah, and they'll open the gates going down the canal, and they've got a spillway. They can do some things with that water. The problem is what water doesn't go into that lake's got to go somewhere. And hopefully that's not in your or my basement.
Well, or anybody. I understand the roads and everything else terrible. We wish everybody well. I wish you a lot of success sitting down at your town meeting and trying to figure out how to stretch that dollar bill, because I wouldn't want to be in your position right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for all your friendship and everything you do.
Hey, not a problem.
I got to get a bunch of things on here, and I'm going to be calling you right after I'm off the air. You can bet on that. Okay, buddy. Dee Unsaker, Mayor of Murtaugh, thank you so much. Don't forget our dear friends at Snake River Auto Body and Paint. Hello, Ken. Hello, Dan. Oh, these are good old boys. You got a little ding in your four-wheeled wonder. Oh, my goodness. You were at the shopping center the other day, and bang, somebody decided to use you as a sounding board in your vehicle. Well, at Snake River Auto Body, they accept all insurances, and they give you an estimate, and they schedule you for repair, and believe me, they are first class. They are absolutely the best at fixing up those four-wheel wonders, make them look brand spanking new. I know, because I've used them on many occasions. Snake River Auto Body and Paint, 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls. Number to call, 734-5790. Got time for one more call. Come on, give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, I also want to remind you, 65 years and counting. What am I talking about? Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Yep, the founder's celebration. Mr. Les Schwab started the Les Schwab Tires 65 years ago. What a magnificent man, and the business that he built, absolutely astronomical. I mean, what they have done, what they have achieved by being honest, by being service-oriented with the best of products, it's unbelievable, the success story for your Les Schwab Tire Centers. Stop in and see them for the best of tires, the best of brake service, shocks and struts, front-end alignments, batteries. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, good morning to you.
Howdy. I don't know if you read your emails while you're on vacation, but I sent you one about McCain, about what he and Kerry had done to the POWs in Vietnam. Wondering if you got that.
You know, I got to apologize to you, but I think you'll understand. There were a total, and I'm not exaggerating on this figure, 875 emails, and I have not had a chance to go through all of them yet. I apologize.
Mine's mixed in there somewhere. Anyways, those two just stabbed every one of those POWs in the back, and they're still over there.
Yeah, I will definitely look for that, and I'm going to spend all day today in my office kind of hunching over my desk and trying to get things done. Alias, appreciate you, man. God bless. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
All right, buddy. It is good to be back home. And again, my absolute thank yous to Sharon, Gina, Wheels, the sponsors, advertisers, and everybody for all their kind thoughts. I really do appreciate it. And let's see. We do not plan on going anywhere for a long period of time. And I know Deanne's back at work right now this morning trying to get everything all set up for our advertising, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Last night, and I thought this was a poor example of basketball. I'm going to state it from my own viewpoint that the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, was very poorly done. Why? Because it was no defense. It was just an absolute waste of time. It was just, let's see how many points we can score. Let's get up to 200 points or whatever. It ended up 192, 182. But what did they teach the youngsters? They taught them the defense doesn't matter. Just score, score, score. It was pathetic basketball and not worth network time last night. NBA All-Star game, absolutely ridiculous. We're going to take a little break and be back in about 5 minutes. Zeb at the Ranch. Thanks for your calls. I'll see you in 6. Holy cow. I've had to retrain myself. Wheels, have patience, old buddy. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, my goodness sakes, yes, it's true. Always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, number to call. Get on the route service. Get your garbage picked up. It's gone. It's out of there. Wave goodbye to that garbage can. 734-6969. Western Waste Services, they are so good. Oh, by the way, the renting of porta potties and, of course, the dumpsters in the various sizes, they are always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, give them a call, 734-6969. By the way, my dear friends, Bert and Elaine Stevenson, they sent me this note that the Minidoka and Cassia County Lincoln Day Luncheon is going to be held this coming Saturday, February 25th at Maury's Steakhouse Convention Center with the meet and greet at 11:30, lunch at noon, and I urge everybody to be there. We're going to have Senator Kelly Anthon, Representative Fred Wood, Speaker Scott Bedke. I'll tell you what, tickets are sold at the door, are $25 each, so plan on that for this next Saturday, the Minidoka and Cassia County Lincoln Day Luncheon. Going to be very good. Deanne and I are always there. We will be again. We'll see you on Saturday. By the way, real quick, don't forget for your dogs, kitty cats, your large animals, horses, cows, Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn, and the number to call, 678-1177. They do have warm hearts for cold noses. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew serving you. And February, by the way, is Animal Dental Month. 20% off on dental procedures to keep them chewing and eating and feeling good. My goodness sakes, Ark Animal Hospital serving you and your animals warm hearts for cold noses. Right now, let's go to the telephone line, and I'm really looking forward to this segment with Steve Malloy, the Senior Policy Fellow with the Energy and Environmental Legal Institute. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I was just going to let you know, sir, I haven't been able to get him on the phone yet.
Why?
I keep calling in, and it goes straight to his voicemail. I even tried the backup number, but I did leave both voicemails on both those numbers, so hopefully I will get a call here soon.
No, keep trying. Don't wait for the call. Keep trying to call him, please.
Yes, sir.
Really important. That a boy will. Stay diligent, my friends. Stay diligent. Well, in that regard, without a guest right now, I need your calls, and I'd really like to hear from you. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I mentioned earlier this morning that we're going to be at Denny's restaurant this week on Thursday for our lunch bunch. The last couple of months with the weather and with Christmas and New Year's and everything, we have not had a chance to really sit down and share lunch bunch like we normally do. And that's going to be coming up on Thursday. And that's, of course, at America's Diner, Denny's restaurant in Burley at 611 Overland in Burley. I miss my lunch bunchers, and a lot of whom left well wishes for Deanne on her birthday this past Saturday. So thank you one and all, and we'll look forward to lunch bunch at 11:30 this coming Thursday at America's Diner, Denny's restaurant. We are hopefully going to get a hold of Steve Malloy with the Environmental and Energy Legal Institute, and we'll have a call in the interim. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's just me again, Zeb. There's one thing that I'm really concerned about. There's so much resistance about what we're bringing into this country from those foreign areas is, I know we've been infiltrated by terrorists already. How many of these people that we can't find or locate end up in these terrorist training camps? And that's really something that I'm concerned about.
You know, Tony, both of us are aware of the book called Twilight in America, and written by a gentleman that was on my program on a couple of occasions, and Martin Moyer. You know, I just don't understand, and you're going to have to help me on this. I don't understand why there isn't more scrutiny, why there isn't more education, why there isn't more government involvement, why our senators and congressmen are basically turning a deaf ear and a blind eye to these terrorist training camps that are going on right here in America.
Well, it's going to be up to these millions and millions of people that wanted Donald Trump to do a better job for him, but you can't just sit back and let him do everything. That's impossible.
Well, it's truly impossible for one man, along with the powers that are afforded to our Congress and others in our government, to get the job done for us. But everybody points the finger at the top dog, which in this case is now President Donald Trump. But you and I both know, and we've talked about this privately and then also on the phone on this program, that, my goodness sakes, we've got evildoers that are learning how to commit mayhem and murder and chaos right here in our own country, and our senators and congressmen, they seem to think, well, it's no big deal.
Well, when there's enough of these people that are trained, they're going to hit every major city all at one time, and this is going to happen.
Yeah,
it really is.
No, I agree with you, Tony, and I respect what you said in the first hour. When you got on this program and you said you're going to really hold their feet to the fire and you're going to be calling them and letting them know that you want results, not just a form letter, God bless you for what you're going to do.
Okay. Thank you, Zeb.
You bet, my friend. Thank you. Calls welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, have we had any success? Tell me yes.
No, I apologize. I haven't had anything. I kind of wish I just had a magic phone to where...
A magic phone?
No matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, evidently, this gentleman forgot that we had a segment scheduled for this day, President's Day, and evidently he's basking in the sunshine someplace on a beach in Florida. I have no idea. But hopefully we can still try to get him before this segment time is over. But we do welcome other phone calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call, and we'd like to talk about anything you want to talk about on this President's Day, 2017. While we're waiting for those phone calls, excuse me, give me a jingle quickly. Hanson Mortuary, this happens in live radio, and we all are prepared for it because we are professionals. Yeah, right. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with our dear friend Joel Heward and his family and his staff. They serve you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. Hanson Mortuary, of course, they can travel to the rural towns and the churches, and they can help you and your family with the arrangements when there's a passing of a loved one. And they've got flexible hours. They are there, literally, to serve you, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please write this number down, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you and your family. Well, good morning, caller. How are you today?
I'm good.
Well, you deserve it. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to wish your lovely bride a birthday. I didn't know she had a birthday. She looks just lovely as ever.
You know what? I'm just gonna come right out and say it, that she actually looks younger every year.
Yeah. I'd like to know how she does it.
Well, I just read it off I read it off the card that she gave me.
Putting up with you.
That's the truth. Yep, she celebrated her birthday on Saturday, and she is now 29 years old.
29.
Yeah.
She doesn't look a day over 25.
No, not at all. Not at all. And you know what? I got to tell you this.
Lunch this week?
What was that, Doug?
I heard you're having lunch bunch this week.
We are, and please tell me we can get some more of those redneck cup holders.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they're really welcome. I'll tell you what, a lot of people want those. And besides that, we're getting closer to the season where we can enjoy them outside.
Exactly, and I've come up with an accessory for them, so I haven't got it together yet, but when I do, I'll start presenting it.
Can you give us a hint as to what it is?
No, somebody tried to copy on my patent here, you know.
Well, you know, I felt rather stupid before we left on our little 3-week vagabond excursion. Pardon me?
Didn't take them down there?
No, but what we did do is there was one day, you're going to laugh at this, with the snow outside and everything, but it was sunny one day. We stuck them out there outside and filled them full of snow. Oh, dear. Anyway, what else is...
If I'd have known you was going down, I'd have sent you about 4 or 5 of them go down there.
Well,
for prizes or something.
This little trip was absolutely needed for health reasons and also mental reasons, and we needed it.
I understand that. And if you got just a minute, I'd like to talk about our senior centers.
Yeah, what's cooking over there?
Well, we've had a couple dairies step up and donate some beef to the Minidoka Senior Center.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, they're just super people. And PBRS is one of them. And,
I know them. Yep.
The White Harvest Farms is going to donate one. They're out of Castle Ford. And people are stepping up. And I've come up with a little change to it, too, that if you own a business and you want to help a senior center, buy a beef.
Yeah.
Or, and then donate it. Or just go around and let your employees, hey, if you want to donate some money to the senior center.
Absolutely.
If you're over 60, join a senior center.
Absolutely. And there are many, many in the area that are outstanding organizations, and they need the support, they need the membership, they need the involvement to survive.
Exactly. The more members they have, the more federal funds they can get.
Yep, absolutely.
And that helps them immensely. And Minidoka has set up an account at DL Evans if anybody wants to. You can go to your bank. They can contact DL Evans for the Minidoka Senior Center. It's Pay It Forward is the name of the account. And you can have an automatic withdrawal taken out of your account every month, or you can do a one-time deal. If we can get 500 people to donate to each senior center around this area, that's $5,000 a month to help the seniors.
Absolutely. By the way, Doug, I wanted to ask you, knowing your background and your family situation and the way you were raised, comparable to myself, your thoughts quickly about Melania Trump being criticized and really blasted by the liberal media in regards to the Lord's Prayer.
Well, for them to criticize in that, it's evil. It's from the devil. Any God-fearing person would not be offended by anybody reciting the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And the way she done it was so classy, and it was just a perfect way to start off a rally or any meeting.
Well, let me ask you this, and I've looked at this situation with Donald Trump. I have to study it every day for this job, sitting behind the microphone. And while I was gone, I had an opportunity to visit with some, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to drop names on this program this morning, but some very influential politicians and also network news people. I want to bring that forward. I said, it doesn't appear to me, with what I see and what I hear and what I read, that this administration is at all getting a fair shake the first month into the White House and all the different activities that they're involved in. And to a person of all the people I talked to, they all agreed Trump is by far being overshadowed by a media that hates him on behalf of the liberal left, and they don't anticipate it's going to get any better in the near future.
I don't either. They're going to hang themselves. I mean, the American people's not stupid. The only ones that are really stupid out there are the ones that drink the tea, the Kool-Aid every day, that read the emails from the head Democrats, and that's how they think. Those are the ones that you're not going to change their mind. But the American people who put Trump in is going to stand up, and we're going to stand up in force.
Well, you know...
Go ahead.
No, one of the things I was going to mention to you was the atrocity, and that's what it was at Berkeley while we were gone, watching those punk kids, those millennials that I think were hired by George Soros money to go in and wreak havoc, destroy the college campus, set fires, etc., over a speaker that was going to be talking about conservative values. You know, it's coming to the point now in this country, Doug, where your life, your security, and your safety for you and your people that work for you and your family, if you're of conservative values, you better look over your shoulder because there's some bad people out there.
There are bad people out there. But those bad people need to realize their rights end where my nose begins.
Amen. Amen.
And they're not going to step on my rights.
Well, I just...
stepped right back on it.
And that's what needs to happen. You know, in the case of what happened at Berkeley, these idiots, and that's what they are, they have no mental capacity for right and wrong. They were trashing everything. They were starting fires. They were breaking glass. They were creating a havoc, a chaotic situation where someone else could have got hurt. Where, honestly, tell me this, where were the police with the billy clubs to maybe bloody some noses and put back the proper lawful attitude that should have been there?
Okay, you got to consider you were in Berkeley. Okay, the government's left out there. I'm sure the police force is on the left. Everybody's for that. But what I don't understand, and I'd like to have a Democrat or a left-leaning person explain this to us, is this person they shut down, Panopoulos, or I can't think how you pronounce his name, but he is an immigrant, and he is gay, and you you shut him down.
Yeah, but
Where's the tolerance?
It does.
Tolerance for us to accept the gays, accept the immigrants. Where's your tolerance?
It doesn't make any difference if it was a Martian landing on the planet Earth that was looking for time on Facebook. Everybody has a right to their self-expression. Everybody has a right in the First Amendment. And for these groups that are so idiotic and chaotic, trying to stop free speech and suppress our constitutional values, every one of them should have had a knock on the noggin and dragged off to a paddy wagon.
Exactly. And I'd like to see them start enforcing a law of some sort where if you go to a protest, you're peaceful, that's fine to protest.
That's right. That's right.
Your First Amendment right. But if you go to a protest and you got your face covered, you're going to be arrested.
But the damage and the infliction of chaotic damage on the campus university, or like what we saw happen in Portland and other areas where the smashing of windows back in Washington, D.C. after the march and the Trump inauguration, the smashing of windows, the destruction of property. Each and every one of those persons should have been arrested. They should have been hung with a minimum of a $25,000 fine to pay restitution for what they did and serve time in jail.
Right. I've seen where there's been almost 200 protesters that were arrested at the inauguration or being charged with a felony.
Yeah. Good.
Which it should be.
Yep. No, I had...
If you want to protest and block a road, Tennessee has passed a law that says it's okay to hit somebody that's blocking the highway.
You know, Doug, there's been horror stories about people that have not been able to get to hospitals for immediate surveying of what their needs are to keep them alive, whether it was a heart attack, whether it was a lady giving birth and everything went wrong, and these protesters blocking traffic. I'll guarantee you that if I were the man in charge of that respective area, whether it's police, whether it's the fire department, whatever, they would have a parting of the waters like Moses, and I'll guarantee you anybody that's in the way, look out.
Exactly. They need to do like they used to do here on Halloween in downtown Burley. About midnight, they'd come down the streets with the fire trucks to get the kids off the street.
Yep, yeah.
You just get that fire truck out there and you turn that hose on. It'll clear a pathway for some cars.
Yeah, I don't care if it's the Black Lives Matter. I don't care what organization it is. I don't care what group they're promoting. But when they are an impedance to other people and other persons' health, then they've got to be moved one way or the other.
Yeah. What I've heard, too, is that all lives splatter.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Hey, buddy, good to talk to you. Thank you.
You too, man.
All right, take care. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, where the fun is sold, let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 5. They love the snow, and they've got all the snow machines. Maybe you're a late bloomer for saying to yourself, I'm just going to splurge and get myself a snowmobile. You still got plenty of time. So why don't you enjoy up in the mountains of beautiful southern Idaho, or for that matter, anywhere. Take your snow machine and enjoy it. They've got all the snowmobiles there. And they've got the timber sled system, snow bike conversion kits. They've got it all. All the accessories, great service department, everything right there at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Yep. It's true. This is where the fun is sold. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Welcome home.
Well, thank you. How are you?
Hi, doing well, thank you, and I hope it was a wonderful time, and I wish Deanne a beautiful, happy birthday, even if it is late.
You know something? She appreciates that. She's listening in the other room, and I hope you're going to have a chance to go to Lunch Bunch on Thursday, and she will personally thank you.
Anyway, I plan to.
Good.
You know, talk about forgetting stuff. I have forgotten the words to songs right in the middle of everything.
Yes.
And sometimes I can't get back.
Linda, you're a classic example. Let me ask you this real quick. I know we got a little delay on the phone here. I apologize. But, earlier this last hour, I was commenting on the fact that it's always good for a professional, whether they're a singer, whether they're a speaker, whatever the case might be, to have a backup fail-safe system in case they forget the script or forget the words. And you being a fantastic singer, I know that you'd agree with me that anybody at any time, in any occasion, can forget the words, and that's why it's good to have a backup system, right?
Yeah, it is. That's why they have prompters in plays.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
If you remember way back to the days of old radio, there was the guy that used to say the 4 words, call for Philip Morris.
Yes.
And he used to just do it. He'd step up to the mic and say it. One day he stepped up to the mic, totally forgot.
Yes.
So they made him use a script ever after that, no matter where he was.
Though, Linda, we all have what I had termed on the last hour a little brain bubble every now and then. I've done it. I'll tell you one that's worse. I remember I was back at a rodeo in Missouri, and I had come from a rodeo in the Northwest, and I'd flown all night. I didn't have any sleep, and I got up and I said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to," and I couldn't remember where the heck I was.
Yeah. I hear you. It does happen. It really does happen. And we've forgotten, to change the subject quickly, we no longer are considerate of each other and what the other needs or what the other might have.
Absolutely.
And people who worry about somebody's accent have an accent to everybody else but their own local people.
Yep, that's very well said. Linda.
We have forgotten that there's another group of people out there, and we are trampling all over their rights and damaging them for our rights.
That's right.
And our whole society has forgotten this respect.
I agree with you, and I thank you for your call. I've got another segment to start here, but God bless you, and we'll see you on Thursday.
See you Thursday, and God bless you, folks.
Thank you. What a nice lady right there. I appreciate her. And right now, without further ado, we're going to go to our phone line. And a gentleman that's been on this program many times in the past, representing the Alliance Defending Freedom, and that's Attorney Jeremy Tedesco. Jeremy, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Jeremy, needless to say, I have been following this case about the florist in the state of Washington, and I've been hoping and, yes, praying that she would win this court case, but it didn't come out so good the first time. Tell us a little background on this story and explain where you're going now.
Sure. What the case is about is a florist in the state of Washington, Baronelle Stutzman. She's over 70 years old. A grandma has owned the floral shop for over 30 years. Consistently served all people in her community in a loving and kind and respectful way, including the gentleman who sued her, a gentleman by the name of Rob and his same-sex partner, Kurt. She had served Rob for over 10 years, made him floral arrangements and designs for all kinds of occasions. But when Rob asked her to make a floral creation celebrating his marriage to his same-sex partner, she respectfully declined. They actually left that conversation on good terms, which wasn't really a surprise to Baronelle because they were very good friends. And unfortunately, Rob's partner talked about it on Facebook, and then pretty much everything exploded on Baronelle. The state attorney general sent her a letter saying, "You have to make flowers and create floral designs celebrating same-sex wedding ceremonies, or you're in violation of state law. And if you're not willing to change your ways, we're going to sue you." And she was not willing to change her ways because these are her religious convictions. She's not going to just give them up because of state pressure. And the state did sue her. And then shortly thereafter, the ACLU sued her as well on behalf of the same-sex couple. Fast forward several years, and unfortunately, the Washington State Supreme Court said that the state had the power to punish her simply for running her business according to her beliefs.
Okay, all that being said, this poor woman stands to lose almost everything she has, her home, her business, etc. And it's like the left, the liberal left, the LGBT movement, etc. in this country. They are making demands that if we don't kowtow to their principles and their ways, if you will, of living, then we're in trouble and we stand a chance to get sued. I mean, how can we ever win this situation?
Well, it's a very winnable situation because what's under attack here is a right that's very well established in the law, the right to be free from compelled speech, from state coercion to force you to say things and do things that violate your core beliefs. So put the shoes on, the other side. If a church was having a rally for marriage between a man and a woman, and they approached a sign shop that's owned by an LGBT couple, and they said, we want signs promoting marriage between a man and a woman made by this sign company, and the sign company said, you know what, we don't want to be associated with this rally, we don't want to promote that message, and declined to make it. If the church sued that LGBT couple, first of all, the people on the left would run, tripping over each other to provide a legal defense to those, to that sign maker. But at the same time, that's just not the right way. That's not the way this works. The constitutional principle protects everybody. And when the state takes that right away, the right to have the freedom to not participate in events and send messages that violate your beliefs from one person, they ultimately set precedent to take away from anybody. And what we're dealing with right now is this moment in our culture when it seems imperative to everyone that same-sex marriage be affirmed and celebrated. But it's not always going to be that issue. It may be some other issue in just a few short years, and the law being used to crush dissent on that issue instead. So we don't want these kind of precedents set in our country because they're completely contrary to everything that America stands for, especially contrary to the First Amendment.
Jeremy, this issue, and we talked about this 2 months ago or so when you were on the program. I want you to reiterate what your answer was to me then. It's not just a florist shop. It's not just a bakery with a wedding cake. It's not just those two particular businesses. It could be involving my radio business. It could be involving any business where these people will come in and literally try to close that business and that person down. Nobody is sacred that they won't come after if they don't get their way. Would you agree with me?
Well, it's not just businesses. It's churches, too. Look, the point of these lawsuits and of the rulings in these cases is that it is illegal discrimination to believe and act on the belief that marriage is between a man and a woman. Well, that's every evangelical Orthodox church in the country, not just of the Christian persuasion, but other religions as well. And there's many people who believe in marriage between a man and a woman who are not religious at all. They have philosophical or historical or natural law arguments for why they believe in that. So understand that, and I think your listeners should understand, that the point of this is to make illegal that belief in any action in accordance with those beliefs about marriage. It's not going to stop at the door to the church. It's not. The left has every intention of forcing churches to comply with the advent of same-sex marriage as well. And we've already seen that. We've already had to file cases on behalf of churches where these non-discrimination laws that include sexual orientation or gender identity or both are being used as tools to threaten those churches regarding, even their pulpit in what they preach from their pulpit, and even their policies regarding who they're going to let use which restrooms and showers in their church facilities. So the reach of the left is absolute. I've always told people that they'll take whatever they think is culturally plausible for them to take. Right now they think, for whatever reason, that businesses are the right target, and so they're going after business owners like Baronel Stutzman.
Yeah.
But there's really no limit to the coercion that they want to use to advance their agenda. It's completely contrary to the way this country has always respected freedom of thought and belief and the pluralistic society that we live in. You can't live in a pluralistic society if one side of a debate has the ability to shut down the other person's viewpoint.
You know, and I am not an attorney, and I do not have the intellect regarding this case that you have by far, but it's so obvious to me that if someone, whether it's the Supreme Court in the state of Washington or whatever, would just look at the First Amendment, understand the words, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I mean, right there, those words say that this lady had every right to have the attitude that she did, but they trumped and tramped on the First Amendment. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's so simplistic. The answer is right there.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes it complicated, and it shouldn't, is that it deals with same-sex marriage. It deals with for whatever reason, appears to be the culturally imperative, thing in our country right now. And we've seen this before. Look, this is not the first time we've seen this in our culture, and it's not going to be the last. Where a group that whose views, gets in power, they use their power. And they overreach, and they use their power and their positions of influence to use the law to coerce people to have uniformity of belief and opinion about certain topics or subjects. That's always been rejected. Now, look, there have been battles. Sometimes they've been very prolonged battles where, the forces of this kind of coercion have won for several years or several different battles. And it's taken a long, protracted fight to stand for the principles involved before ultimately the core, precious First Amendment rights implicated by these kinds of things are vindicated. And that's the battle we're in right now. I mean, the fact that Barronelle lost her case, ultimately, it's not the beginning or the end of anything. It's another data point on what's going on in the broader culture when it comes to coercion on these issues. And we just have to understand that right now, our duty as people who love freedom and love religious freedom especially, is to draw a line in the sand and fight respectfully for our rights.
What about the lady herself? I mean, this must have been a traumatizing event for the last couple of years that would drive a lot of people into submission and say, okay, I give up. I give up. What about Mrs. Stutzman herself?
There's no question that it's been hard on her. From the death threats and the very, very vile and hateful, messages that she receives quite frequently from people and detractors. But the core thing for Barronelle is, it is very simple. The state is not going to coerce her to give up her religious freedom. And that's the thing that motivates her. It's very simple to her. There's no demand the state could make of her where she would do something that she feels like is dishonoring to God, and she's a hero for it. And she's going to continue to resist the state's coercive pressure. We're going to file a petition for the Supreme Court of the United States to hear her case within the next few months, and so the last chapter of her case has yet to be written.
Well, like I said earlier, it's absolutely comforting to know that people like Jeremy Tedesco and the Alliance Defending Freedom are involved in helping this lady. But this isn't the only story. This isn't the only case. I mean, they're creeping and cropping up all around the country, aren't they?
Yeah, these cases are going on all across the country. You're right. We have another case before the Supreme Court right now on behalf of a cake artist in Colorado, Jack Phillips at Masterpiece Cake Shop, who was sued when he declined to create a cake celebrating a same-sex wedding ceremony. That case is pending before the U.S. Supreme Court. There's a case in Kentucky on behalf of a promotional printer who didn't want to print T-shirts promoting a gay pride festival. We've got 3 or 4 cases going on in different jurisdictions throughout the country where Christian business owners have gone on the offense. And before getting sued or having, like Barronelle, their homes and their life savings threatened through this kind of litigation, they're going to court first and saying, look, I'm going to run my business according to my religious beliefs. There's this law that says I can't, and I'm going to court before anybody, enforces it against me to ask the court to tell the government in my locality that they can't enforce the law against me in this way, in a way that forces me to express messages I disagree with. So there's a lot of litigation going on in this area, and there's going to be a lot more. And it goes back to my earlier point. These battles are not, Baronel's case is not the only case on this. The outcome in her case that won't dictate the end result. If we win Baronel's case, you can better believe the other side's going to continue to fight to try to establish the principle they wanted to establish in that case anyways. And if we lose that case, we're going to continue to fight in these other fronts as well. And so we continue to resist all these kinds of things and try to protect conscience rights for people of faith who just want to live their lives in a way that's consistent with their beliefs about marriage between a man and a woman.
Well, the old adage about we reserve the right to refuse business based on such and such, I mean, basically property owners, business owners, their hands are tied. The government is subjecting them to a kind of a dictatorship of saying, no, you will do this or you won't do that. And it's not just the cake bakers and it's not just the floral arrangers. It could be a radio program refusing to do ads for a certain situation. I mean, this is unlimited as to what can happen and might happen, and that's where I applaud you folks with the Alliance Defending Freedom.
Well, we appreciate that very much, and you're right, it does impact everybody. I mean, right now, our clients are, a florist, a cake artist, a media and film production company, a artist studio that does calligraphy and painting, a website design and graphic artist company that creates websites celebrating marriages. I mean, all these people are being told by the government, you have to celebrate marriages that violate the core aspect of your religious convictions regarding marriage, or we're going to enforce the law against you. In some instances, these laws include criminal penalties, jail time, if you violate the law. So if you simply say, I'm not going to create a website celebrating marriage between a man and a woman, you could be subject to jail. That's not freedom. That's intolerance, and that's coercive pressure from the government that has no place in a free society, especially a society like America that was established precisely because of the religious intolerance that our founders and the people who came here before the founders experienced in other countries.
Absolutely. Jeremy Tedesco with the Alliance Defending Freedom. Always a very interesting and informative segment with you, my friend. Thank you so much. God bless, and keep up the good work. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Seb. Take care.
Thank you. You know, I got to get this in here. I know back in my grandfather's day that there were certain things that he refused to do with his business. He owned a big meat market and grocery store. And I know there were certain things that came up that my Grandpa Frank would not be a part of and he would not do. Ethically, he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, in those days and times, there was no repercussion or ramification against him, as there are today. I can honestly tell you that each and every business owner, each and every business should be highly aware and afraid of what the left and these perverted people might try to do, whether it's here, whether it's on the coast in L.A. or up in Seattle, back in Kentucky. It doesn't make any difference. You've got to be on guard, and I, for one, will never, and I mean this, I will pull the plug on my own program before I will adhere to their whims and wishes and demands. Never going to happen. We're going to get a weather forecast in here right now, and the weather brought to you by Phillips, our good friends Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Crane and Company, CPAs. It's that time of the year. Everybody, including us, scrambling to get all the items put together, dot the I's, cross the T's for our taxes, make sure that we've got everything ready to go, and the very best working with you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. I know these people. I trust these people. They are the very best at tax return preparation, tax planning, payroll services, retirement planning. 2 locations, 1710 Overland and Burley, and 625th Street in Rupert. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Expect more wet weather as we move through the week. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are in a flood warning that is going to be in effect at least until noon. They could extend that as we do have more rain showers in the forecast for at least the next 2 days. Today we're looking at 50% chance of rain showers, winds out of the south right around 17 miles an hour, high of 49, tonight low of 43. Tomorrow, yes, more rain showers, about a 50% chance. Plus, the winds are going to be picking up to about 25 miles an hour out of the southwest. Warming up to 51, overnight low of 32. Cloudy and about 40 for Wednesday. Winds dying down just a little bit. Then we are expecting snow showers for Thursday and a high of 34. That is your weather on this President's Day for Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo! What a forecast! This wet rain, snow, my goodness sakes. Brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, CPAs. 2 locations, Burley and Rupert, serving you. Numbers to call, 878-7000 and 436-5607. You get a hold of the best to help you with your taxes. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Right now, it's time for you to give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, during that weather forecast, I was thinking, the demands that you will do this. You will go against your faith. You will go against what has been considered right and or wrong. You will break the mold. You will adhere to our philosophy. That's the left today. That's the perverted left today, demanding that you and I conform to their wishes. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I urge you to fight back. I urge you, whether it's in a verbal confrontation, to let them know that you're not going to change your ways. You're not going to be cowed. You're not going to have your business ruined by these people making demands on what they think you should do. We're going to be seeing, and I thought about this a lot over the last 3 weeks, we're going to be seeing a lot more of the punk millennial activity of either you do it our way, or we don't like this speaker, or we don't like this meeting, we're going to protest, we're going to burn, we're going to loot, we're going to destroy. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And we've really got to draw a line in the sand and make a strong, firm conviction that we're going to stand for what's right and condemn what's wrong. We owe that to our children, and we owe that to our grandchildren and future generations. Because right now in this country, right and wrong is being blurred, and it's being twisted and turned by the left, the insidious left, to be what they want it to be. And really there is no distinction, or should be no distinction, as to, well, maybe that's right. Well, no, maybe that's wrong. No, it's clear. And I'll go to biblical prophecies on this. If it's not right in God's eyes, it's not right at all. There is no mishmash. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call about your area and the potholes. Oh, my goodness sakes, the roads have just blown up. I can't believe how devastatingly dangerous it is out there. And I know we made a little run Saturday for Deanne's birthday, and my goodness sakes, you got to watch out for every pothole out there. Wreck your tires, wreck your front end. It's absolutely terrible. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. God bless you, and God bless America. My name is Shelley Holy, and I just wanted to say a few thoughts about the precious lady who has her flower business, and whoever is a baker that has to bake cakes for these punks out there that are trying to push their evil agenda on us. Well, I wanted to say, we do need to keep those that flower lady in our prayers, for one thing, and whoever else is attacked on these lines. But there's one verse in the Bible the Lord is reminding me, and I think it's right now, in the meantime, while these people are trying to push their evil agenda on us, we can do one thing in the process. You know, the Bible says when we give a cup of water to our enemy, we are heaping coals of fire on their heads. So in the meantime, if you have to serve them in whatever capacity in your business, you know, consider this. You know, do it with a cheerful smile. You know, it's more money in your pocket, but, you know, you're heaping coals of fire on their heads, and they're going to end up going to hell in the midst. And if God God will deal with those people. So in the meantime, until we get that law changed, you know, to have the same-sex thing illegal, and same for even abortion issue, that's another story, to have that reversed. Well, we're going to have to just deal with it and just serve with a smile and heap coals of fire on their heads.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your call this morning. I appreciate your thoughts. I've got a commercial break, but I certainly appreciate your viewpoint. Thank you for calling in this morning. Thank you. Don't forget Cameron and Siemens Insurance, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, oh, so much more. They are the professionals serving you. And believe me, they're very dedicated and responsive to your needs, so please get a hold of them today. The number to call for an appointment, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Absolutely the best. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, hey, Zeb. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Do you feel better? I mean, do you feel refreshed and ready to tear into the problems of the world?
You know what? I got to be honest with you. I do. I have never felt more refreshed and refurbished and kind of like a building that fell over and the boards needed to be re-nailed. I needed new wood. And I'll guarantee I'm ready to go for a while.
Well, good, because, you know, these protesters, the anarchists, think that they have no choice but to fight. They have one plan of attack, and they've exposed themselves for their plan. So in other words, we know how they're going to do it. It's just a matter of tolerating it or putting it, you know, the kibosh on it. And I think as Trump goes through, and you know, all these permanent federal workers that think that they are somehow going to keep their jobs will find out that they are, you know, hitting the bricks.
Hey, by the way, Randy, let me interrupt you right there. You made a good point, and I'm almost out of time. There were the crybabies on the left that were complaining that the workers that took off from their jobs to march in the Day Without Immigrants parade and march, and they got fired, and the left is crying, saying that's not fair. Hey, listen, when you work for somebody, you work for somebody. You don't take time off and go out and stand on the bricks or on the pavement and condemn the same business that you're working and getting a paycheck from.
Absolutely not. See, the whole environment is changing, and as soon as Trump gets all of his cabinet members and, you know, going, and then he gets all of the people that work in those agencies that are loyal to Trump's agenda, then we are going to see Pink Slip City, like they said, bloodbath. And so, you know, these federal agencies, there's so many things I want to say. I'm probably better call back later, but these federal agencies, if you go through, 90 percentile of them were donating money to the Hillary Clinton campaign, and I don't know how many agencies it was upwards of like 15 or 20, and if they went through all of their donations, and they were all donating to the Hillary Clinton campaign, and so when Trump won, you can imagine the panic.
Oh, absolutely.
Back there, and you and I's delight.
Now, I got to run to the news, but I wish you would call a little earlier in the hour so we could talk more about this. Do it tomorrow morning, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
All right, buddy. Hey, we've got to run to the news right now from CBS. They're going to mess up everything we put together over the last hour, and then we'll be back with more next hour. In just 6 minutes, Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Oh, my. First day back in quite a while, and special thanks go out to my itty-bitty buddy over there, Wheels. Thank you so much for all you do. And, of course, welcome back to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service, 734-6969. I made a phone call the other day to this gentleman, and he agreed to come on the program, and I thank him so much because he's got probably a lot of information and updates about what's happening with the flooding and the water situation here in southern Idaho, and especially in this area. And I say good morning to the Cassia County Undersheriff and the head of the emergency management team for Cassia County, George Worrell. George, good morning, and thank you for taking the time to come on my program.
You bet. Thanks, Zeb. Appreciate it.
Well, George, give me kind of an update to give me education about how bad things were, where we are now, and what about that forecast for more rain and snow for the next 4 days?
Okay, we've, starting out about the 11th of January, we saw a lot of flooding right down on the flat. We had a lot of snow on the ground, and of course the warm temperatures come and started warming up and melting, and so we ended up with flooding that, I've lived here my entire life. I've never seen that type of flooding before. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of reasons for it. From the farming practices have changed, and we no longer have we don't have any borrow pits for the water to go to. We've built homes in low-lying areas of the field. So there's different theories about why it happened, but it did happen, and we had it in pretty much every area of Cassia County. And the worst hit area at first was right down. We started getting calls in the city of Burley about basements being flooded, and then it kind of spiraled from there, and then it moved to out south of Burley, and we had a lot of homes that were underwater, and if you flew it looked like we were sitting right over the Great Salt Lake. There was just so much water, and then we had a cold front come through, and we had some cold temperatures, and it receded and stopped for about a week, maybe a week and a half, and then we got hit really, really bad, especially out in the Raft River, Malta areas. We really took a hit out there, and then of course it moved throughout the valley to Albion, and Albion got their share, and then of course Oakley got it, and before long, out west of Burley was also underwater, and that area took a lot of the brunt of the flooding out there as well. So it didn't really move anywhere in Cassia County.
George, let me ask you this. Where are we today? I mean, there's a lot of people that have gone through some loss. There's a lot of people that have just had a lot of heartache. But we're not done with winter yet. I mean, we still could possibly have some more major snowstorms. We could certainly have some more devastation with the rain in the forecast, et cetera. So where are we as far as precautions are concerned?
Well, yesterday I took a drive up Goose Creek down towards the Nevada-Utah borders there. In fact, I went over into Grouse Creek, Utah, and there's a lot of snow still sitting over there. In fact, there's about 18 inches of snow right in Grouse Creek, but as you leave and you come back towards Idaho and you get back into the, into the above Bedke Ranch there's still a lot of snow, but there's a ton of flooding going on up there. I know we've got a couple of bridges that are out up in that area that we've got, the ranchers up in that area have cattle on one side and they've got their feed on the other side, and they're really struggling, to be able to get to their cattle. The roads up there are all but washed out, and in fact, Birch Creek Road, which is just between here and Lynn, Utah, is shut down, as well as the road going to the Oakley Reservoir, which is washed out. So we're seeing a lot of flooding still. Right now, I would say the Goose Creek drainage is probably the worst that I've seen in the valley here in the Oakley, in Cassia County, for the time being. So, and I know the Oakley Canal Company and the Goose Creek Flood District are working right now to mitigate any flooding below the dam, as well as they're also working with the Corps of Engineers and an engineer out of Idaho Falls to look at the dam as far as getting a vent put in there. So in the event they need to release more water out of there, they'll be able to release quite a bit more than they have the capability of right now.
Well, George, what about this?
I don't know if you've been out there, Zeb, and looked, but the flood channel there, the Cottonwood flood channel is open, and they've run water. Last I seen, there was quite a bit coming out of there that it had reached down past about 1,000 south, and they've got some injection sites out there that they're trying to get that back into the aquifer, and so they're trying to keep the water here in Cassia County, but we'll see as time goes by.
Well, George, you mentioned at the beginning that this is the worst you've ever seen, but I guess my question would be to you. I've lived here since 1969. I've never seen anything like this happen in this area. What precautions from this point on can be taken to maybe not totally eliminate, but to help alleviate any future problem like this when we have a devastating snowpack like we're seeing melt right now?
Well, right now they're looking. The Corps of Engineers is looking at building a separate flood channel to so in the future, if we need to again, and this is just right now is in the studying stages. They're looking at it, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to figure something out. But anyway, what they would do is build a separate channel specifically for the Oakley Reservoir to release water through it. Just through that channel, and so because in '84 when we had the last real good flooding, and I shouldn't say we had a scare at the reservoir. The problem was they had trenched all the way over there to Cottonwood, and then Big Cottonwood started running and it took all the capacity out of there. So that was when they had to go in, and I think it was about 3 days. I remembered I was here. I was growing up at that time, and I remember it seemed like about 3 or 4 days they dug a channel all the way from the reservoir all the way to Burley to the river, and so they're looking at that. They're also looking at that by installing this vent, they will be able to. They can only release just a small amount of water out of there right now, and I'm not exactly sure on the. I'm not real good on the CFS and stuff coming out of there, but it's a pretty small amount, and they want to be able to step that up to where they can release a significant amount. But and then to the areas around, especially around these areas where you did get hit last go around, I would suggest leave your sandbags, everything in place. Until we're through with the season, because like you said, we're a long way. We're still in February. We've got all of our spring storms. We have not, generally we'll get a lot of snow in the spring. We'll get, of course, our rains and stuff that we haven't even hit that yet. We're still in winter.
Right.
So that's the thing that I would look to is leave things in place, and if you need to mitigate now, if you had problems a couple weeks ago, you need to be ahead of it and looking at what can I do to prevent it or mitigate it the best I can.
George, what does it mean when the governor comes into an area, along with the lieutenant governor and also Homeland Security, and they declare that 20 counties in the state of Idaho are under disaster declaration? What do those words mean?
Well, it allows for us, public entities to begin to get financial relief and help from the government, from the state, as well as we're looking right now at depending on the amount that comes in, a federal declaration as well. But anyway, that'll help us put back some of the infrastructure. The roads are in horrible shape throughout not just Cassia County, but every county in the valley. But anyway, it'll help put that in place and give us some financial help and hopefully some relief, because it's going to be a long process to repair all this damage that's been done here in Cassia County. And I heard rumor last night that Minidoka County was getting flooded, and I don't know that for a fact, but I had heard last night that they were getting another round today. So,
well, let me express just a little bit more of an outreach on the question regarding our roads. You touched on it just briefly, but Highway 30 and all the other county roads are just literally falling apart. Is it going to take the federal government to come in with disaster assistance and basically rebuild the infrastructure? How are the counties? How are the cities? How's anybody going to come up with that kind of money?
And that was the whole reason. I mean, that's the purpose behind that declaration. And we're going to need help. There's no way that we can pay for all that's going to need repaired on the backs of Cassia County residents. It's going to take some help. And I'm not on the FEMA aspect of it. I'm not real sure where we're at there. I was told that it had to be $2.2 million worth of damage before they would come in, and I can't imagine we're probably over that in Cassia County alone. So I don't know where we're at there. That is a call that will come out of the governor's office or through the Office of Emergency Management. And one thing I will say, during this whole process, we reached out to the state. There came a point when we were just overwhelmed. We didn't have the resources to deal with it. We were there for a while. We were struggling just to get sandbags, because everybody else is under the same problem we are, and everybody's rushing out and getting them. So there came a point where we had to step in and ask the state to help us, and they were good enough. They sent down some of their leadership. They come down and they come in and helped us set up and establish. We've got we had an emergency operations center set up there for about a week that we were able to operate and get things moving and try to get the paperwork and the contacts made that out in these areas, especially with the highway districts, the canal companies, the irrigation districts, these places that we needed to get a hold of so we can start getting that federal relief. And without them, it would have been pretty difficult. So they did a great job coming in and helping us out. So,
George, earlier this morning, I had a phone call at about 6:30 from a listener that said, welcome back. And then he asked who was going to be on the program this morning, and I mentioned your name. And his interest was in the Oakley Reservoir itself. He said it was built a long, long time ago. Can it withstand another onslaught of all this water when we're not even finished with winter yet and more storms on the way? His concern was that, are there enough precautions being taken, and is there enough study to make sure that it's safe?
I hope so, Zeb. That is, I've asked that question specifically, and I've asked that to the engineers. Can this handle all this water? They assure me structurally that the dam itself is in really good shape. It is the fact that it can't. They can only release so much water, and that's the issue. And I'm hoping. I've had the commissioners out here, Cassia County commissioners. I've had, of course, the flood district. I've had the canal companies. We've met. We're trying to and trying to stay on it, and because that is a real concern. It's a concern for me. When 2 weeks ago, when this all first started, and it was brought to my attention on the Oakley Dam, there was a lot of water going in there. It was record amounts, and it was there was a scare there. We heard the rumors all over town that the dam was going to break, and it was structurally not sound, and that to me is not true. At least from what I've seen and what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that water level would have stayed up, yes, it would have definitely been a concern, because at the rate it was going, it would have filled. And yeah, there's no way that we could have released enough water to eliminate any flooding. And so with the cool temperatures, that helped a lot. And then, of course, now they're releasing that water and getting that water out of there to manage the system the best they can. I think and I hope that they're staying ahead of that.
George,
that is a real concern for me, and for a lot of folks, especially the ones that live right down from the dam.
Right.
So.
Right.
It's definitely a concern.
Let me ask you this question. You're the head of the emergency management team for the Cassia County area. How do you train for something like this? How do you understand and educate yourself for something like this? Because, quite frankly, I would imagine this is the first time you've ever come in conflict with this big of a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of like, just sink or swim. Get thrown in, and you either swim or drown. That's pardon the pun there, but it's been that way because I've never experienced anything like this. I've been in law enforcement for 27 years. We deal with a lot of different things, but this particular thing I had never dealt with. Like I said earlier, back in '84, when we had the scare and we had flooding going on, and they were building that. I remember being out here, and my father was a deputy for Cassia County, and I remember being out here and seeing that. In fact, it was kind of almost like deja vu when I come out here and seen people blocking the roads, and reminded me of '84. But in order, I've been through, some of the trainings back east at the FEMA Center, the ICS trainings, incident commands, that type of thing. But I'll tell you, when in this instance, it's been eye-opening because, I've just never experienced this. And so you're having to adapt and reach out to people and, ask for help when you're not sure what you're doing, which has come up several times over the course of the last month.
George, I want to wrap this up.
It's in, ongoing, so.
Yeah. I want to wrap our conversation up a little bit with a safety warning, if you will. The roads, we talked on that briefly. Water is, of course, the main concern, but roads, the situation with the potholes, the absolutely hazardous driving on some of our roads and the danger of the roads. As a police officer, tell the audience about really be careful, slow down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like yesterday I was driving. I went up Goose Creek, like I said, went up there, and there was a boulder in the middle of the road. Had it been, dark, very difficult to see, but you're in a hazardous area anyhow. And so I was driving extremely slow and cautious, but, I thought, boy, if that was, middle of the night coming out of Goose Creek, here's this boulder, it's waist high, sitting in the middle of the road. Same way with the roads. You can see the water going across it, but in a lot of cases, because of the mud and everything, silt and everything in the mud, you can't see what's below that. And a lot of those roads are, very deceiving. You look at them and they look like it's just water running across them, but the roads themselves are gone or are getting close to being gone. And I sure wouldn't want to be in the middle of one when they wash away, especially out in some of these outlying areas, or middle of the night driving through some of these areas, and all of a sudden the road itself is gone. Because we have had spots where the road is completely gone, and we're talking, 6-foot trench cut through, or cut through where the water has breached the road, and so the road is completely gone, and that would definitely leave a mark if you were to hit that. So,
George, final thought here, too, is that this is a problem, and I want you to elaborate. I got about 2 minutes left. This is a problem that is not going to have a Band-Aid on it to stop the bleeding for quite some time. I mean, April 1st, April 15th, April showers bring May flowers. This thing's not going to cure itself overnight. It's going to take a long time and a lot of people's patience before this thing is solved. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. We're a long ways. We've still, like I said, we've still got all of our spring storms coming in. We're a long ways. There's still a lot of snow up in the high country. We actually flew that area up in some of those drainages above the Oakley area. We're a long ways from being through this, and a lot of snow still too up there. Just as you break up into the Wilson Gulch area, there's snow from that point up. It's still winter. Everywhere south of Oakley, it's winter up there. So, and a lot of snowpack to still come. That was one thing I was going to tell you, is that they are going to go up this week too. They're going to look at the snow-tell sites to kind of get an idea where they are, water-wise, what we're looking at coming off this spring, to help get an idea of how they can manage the Oakley Reservoir, that water system. Mm-hmm. So that'll help give some information and know what we're looking at, and that'll help a lot. As well as they also talked with the governor about getting some more snow-tell sites so we can have this information earlier and more sites to be able to make a better determination on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cassia County should be proud of having people like you involved, and I say thank you to the Cassia County Undersheriff and head of the County Emergency Management Team, George Worrell, a good friend of this program. George, anytime you need an update, anytime you need something announced, don't hesitate, just give us a call, we'll get it on.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Appreciate it. Wow, that was a very comprehensive update on what's going on, and I thank George for all of his information here this morning. Very, very well done. By the way, don't forget on Thursdays we have a segment called Cassia County School Days, and I want to remind you it's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And, of course, celebrating a lot of years of being involved with the community with all the different items for the young ones in your family, and quite frankly for the parents too, all the games and a lot of adult clothing, etc. And they've got just so much there at the store. Why don't you stop in and see them today? A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley for all your outpatient surgeries, especially the colonoscopies or the cataract and eye surgeries. Please call them today and let them save you money. 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with the Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Right now, we're going to send it over to our main studios. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
The hardest part of getting back in the saddle for this program is literally sitting down for 3 hours. I mean, holy cow, I'm not used to that. I'm as stiff as an old board here this morning. We're going to go to the phone line right now, and I'm very, very blessed to have this lady come on my program this morning. She's been here many times before. She's a lawyer, a writer, and a reporter at Politichicks, and I like her opinion. She's got a brand new book out called Good Guys with Guns at Home. Susan Swift, good morning to you. How are you?
I am doing great, Deb. Thanks so much for having me back on.
Well, it's my pleasure and my treat. First of all, let's talk a little bit about your book, and then I'm going to talk about Trump and the first month of his administration, all kinds of things. But what about this new book, Good Guys with Guns at Home? Tell us the background on this book.
Well, it's a children's book because the next generation really needs to know what's important about guns. And right now, what the media and what the liberals want us to believe is that guns are bad, guns kill people, which is utter nonsense. You know that. It's people, bad people, kill other people with guns. And it's only good guys with guns who can stop the bad guys with the guns. And I want to reach the next generation. So this is a children's book for very young children, and it's all about the everyday heroes who use guns to protect Americans. I found an illustrator. He has just received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Art Directors Guild in Hollywood. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and the illustrations are whimsical and a little bit of a throwback to the era long ago, you know, when respect for law was one of those givens that we all understood. So I'm inspired by a desire to teach children about the good guys who use guns, and this is just the first book in the Good Guys with Guns series. The next one's going to be about the good guys abroad, like our military, who protect American interests all around the world. And then the next one is the ones in history, the good guys in history who used guns to grow our nation and to protect the fledgling colonists.
You know, I really respect you. I have not seen the book. I've been gone for about a month anyway, but I have not seen the book. But it must have been difficult for you to write this book in the terminology necessary for these younger ones to understand. But then also, it must have been a little tough, and you probably took a lot of heat from the left. Tell us about that.
Well, hardly anybody's seen it because it is just out right now. I'm going to be going to CPAC this week to talk about it. So it is absolutely brand new, and you can see it on my website, which is susanswift.net, and you can also buy it on Amazon. So it's both places. But it is brand new, and it's in very, very simple language. It introduces police officers and sheriffs and the guns that they use. You know, this is a service pistol, and this is a shotgun. Things like that. Very, very simple so that children can look at the beautiful illustrations, and they'll see friendly people looking back at them. And this was actually inspired because at a preschool nearby, one time they were having a little Christmas pageant, a little show where all of the parents were going to come and see the children. And what happened was one of the parents, who was a police officer, arrived a little bit late, and he was in his uniform. So he came and he stood at the back of the room very politely. And another one of the parents turned and saw this police officer and started freaking out and started to lose it. Because, that would be nervous. You know, as a police officer shows up in a preschool, you're kind of wondering, what is this? You know, what's going on? And the preschool teacher and the officer's wife, who's a parent as well, you know, at the school, they're both there reassuring this liberal mom, everything's okay, it's all right, he's one of the dads, he's just coming for the Christmas pageant, it's okay. She knew that. Now she didn't care. She wanted him out of there because he was a police officer with a gun. And she went so far as to make sure he could not come to the school to pick up his own child, reported him to his captain at the local police station, and it made it so bad that this police officer couldn't leave his kids at this preschool. And that just bothered me no end. And I thought, you know what, you can get mad or you can get even. We need to start having fun and teaching these children that these are good guys. And we need to start taking away the fear that liberals put into their children at a very young age through their own mistakes and also through our schools, because we all know that schools are safe zones which just means they are target-rich environments for bad guys. Because everybody knows if you're in a school, nobody within, 250 feet owns a gun, which that ought to change, by the way. We ought to have armed people in. I would love if we had teachers who were licensed to concealed carry, who had training to properly use firearms, and so could protect children if anything ever happens, like a Columbine. And it's only because of really brave people, everyday heroes, police officers, National Guard, sheriff. That's what stops these bad guys. And I was appalled that even, liberal parents don't even know that it's a very good thing if a police officer is near your school. That's good. They protect children. They protect you. They protect us. And to attack a police officer and to make his life miserable because he came to see his child at a Christmas pageant, I just couldn't let that go. So that's the inspiration for the book.
Let me ask you this, though, Susan, and you and I are on the same page. Boy, I love your thinking on this, but you know as well as I do, the liberal left, the soccer mom mentality is that they're all going to bond together and they're going to try to not only stop your book, but stop the premise of the book. This book should be read by the administration, should be read by the teachers. We've got to have some kind of an awakening in this country to where we not only have respect for law enforcement, but we also encourage them to be a part of our everyday activities.
Absolutely we should, and I just hope that, I know this book will teach children. I think it will trigger liberals, and I really hope it will make guns great again.
Now, I want to ask you a little bit about our society as it is today, a month, if you will, after Trump has taken over at the helm of the presidency. I will state that myself personally, I'm very excited about some of his cabinet choices, most of them, as a matter of fact. I'm very excited about his following through on various issues that he said he would follow through on. And quite frankly, I think with a rewording on the immigration order, the executive order, I think this country could become a lot safer. I've kind of generalized everything, but what are your thoughts about President Donald Trump?
I like a lot of the things that he is doing, and I love how he is a force of one. He is going out there and through every avenue of power that is legitimate to him, through executive orders and different rallies, things that he's doing by appointments, he is doing what he said he would do. And I'm very, very encouraged and happy about that. I was not originally a Trump supporter during the primaries, but then once he became the nominee, of course, I was a never Hillary person. But now that I see what he's doing, I'm very, very encouraged. I also know that he has a very populist and a centrist wing of his, of his actions that he wants to do. I'm a little worried about that. But here's how this could be such a win-win. Because what he's doing by taking action and making end runs around the media and around the liberal establishment, which is trying to block him at every turn, he's waking up the Republicans. And I really need these establishment rhinos to wake up and start helping. If they start crafting legislation which is more conservative, more in line with Republican, at least old-time Republican values, not the rhino values like the liberals that kind of go along with the liberal establishment. I'm thinking of the two teachers, the ones who were bought and paid for by the teachers union in Maine and Alaska, who voted against Betsy DeVos. But if we get, through Congress, some really solid legislation, if they can start pushing these things like tax reform, like repealing Obamacare, if they will get off of their posterior regions, Trump is right there ready to sign it, but no one's supporting him. He is a force of one, and what we need to do, Republicans need to be backing him and making sure he stays on the conservative side, not he doesn't veer off into populist, centrist, leftist land. I don't want him to do that. I want him to repeal Obamacare. That's what the government ran on. He ran on it, but so did Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. They have promised to repeal Obamacare, and I am sick and tired of listening to, we may have to repair it. We don't know if we're going to repeal it. Well, repair, replace. It's just like, what is it with the R behind your name? Is that what it is? Repeal, repair, replace? What are you saying? I want that gone. You said you promised. And what we need to do is make sure that when they do get in here, that they really do repeal Obamacare. That was a huge promise. And that they really do tighten border security and start building the wall, maybe not in physical form, but maybe it's in electronic form, gates, things like that. There are many different ways to secure our borders because most problems come from the air. They fly in. People come on student visas, but then never leave. So the entire system of checking to see, hey, you came in, but you haven't left. Where are you? We don't have a system in place. So border security is not just a ditch and a wall on the southern border. That's not what that is. But the Congress has to get in gear, and I'm hoping that they're not going to be stalling anymore. I know they're going to be taking a break this week, probably because of CPAC. But when they get back, they've promised to repeal Obamacare, and they better move on taxes and start slashing taxes dramatically. And we can help by putting pressure on them and talking directly to them because Trump's there. He's ready to sign it, and that will also help keep him more on the conservative line. We have an opportunity to shape the legislation in a conservative vein. Now, I don't want Trump just going off and being a populist and saying, yeah, I think $15 an hour is a great thing, and 6 weeks paid maternity leave. Those are very, centrist and left-wing positions. And if he's going to be let to, he can talk all he wants, but Republicans have to craft the legislation that will put things in place. And that's what I'm hoping, that we have a wonderful opportunity to present good, solid legislation with good details in it that allow, for instance, the market to determine what is the minimum wage. Why is the government even telling anybody how much I can pay for, a kid to wash my car?
Yep.
That's nonsense. I should be able to pay a kid whatever I want. And so should any other employer who says, you know what, I can't afford $15 an hour. I'm going to put a robot in place to flip burgers. That's nonsense. And this is where, in issues like this, Republicans can have really good common sense, conservative legislation, which Trump will sign. And that's how I think we need to approach it, is that he is going to be he's a powerful person. I think together with a powerful Congress, we can absolutely roll back a lot of the liberal mess that we've been, led down in these last at least 8 years, probably more.
I agree with everything you said, Susan, but I think there's a problem, a huge, sinister problem that is not for a long time going to be corrected. That is the media in general. Right now, they can warp a straight board. They can change a story with just a couple of words. They can absolutely be the most insidious villain against the Trump administration for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 4 years. How are we going to establish a journalistic value that we used to have 30, 40 years ago?
Well, guess what? It's already happening. If you start looking at any of the ratings, Fox News commands, the news and a lot of the things that people are able to see. CNN is at the bottom. It is fake news. They're already imploding. The New York Times is, it doesn't have the circulation it needs. They're getting desperate. You see, the media is getting desperate. All they can do is writhe and scream in their coffins because they're not making any money. People are catching on. They see it. The Internet means the Internet in an indirect way is keeping media accountable. And that's why we go to Drudge. We go to other alternative news sites. For instance, Politichicks.com. That's where I contribute. And at Politichicks today, I just have a story up that explains how several of the mainstream media sites absolutely took Trump's rally in Florida and twisted it all around. They acted like Swedish meatballs. They were complaining about his comment that it's still shame in Sweden what's been happening, the crime rate because of asylum seekers from Syria. They've been coming into Sweden. Sweden is the poster child for unrestricted immigration. They've accepted tons and tons of Syrian refugees. Well, it's come back to bite them in the behind. And the media didn't know about it. Neither did the former foreign minister in Sweden, Carl Bildt. He even made a fool of himself tweeting about it. He said, well, there wasn't a terrorist attack last night. Trump wasn't even talking about a terrorist attack. What he was referring to was, and this happened a couple of days ago, a really bad guy, a Syrian refugee who was part of a terrorist hit squad in Syria. He had massacred 7 people, and then after killing, 7 of the Syrian troops in a very bloody, awful execution style, this guy applied to and was granted asylum in Sweden. Well, finally, the court in Sweden caught up with him and sentenced him to, life imprisonment. And that's what Trump was talking about, was the crime rate of these, Syrian refugees. And this had just happened that the court had caught up with this guy and sentenced him. That's what he was talking about. And the media, all of them went and tried to make fun of Trump. And so he didn't know what he was talking about. There wasn't a terrorist there. What is he talking about? He is just so silly. I mean, they just kind of wanted to lampoon him.
Right.
It made them look like idiots. It made them look like both American and Swedish media. I'm calling them the American and Swedish media meatballs. I mean, they totally blew it because they didn't even bother to do the 2-minute internet search that I did to find out, well, what is going on with Syrian crime? That's what this bad guy got caught, and Sweden finally caught up with him. But that's what's going on in
Absolutely.
Sweden. There's all kinds of rampant crime from these Syrian refugees. There's probably a lot of good people too, but there are a lot of bad elements coming over from Syria, and they're committing crimes in Sweden. And that's what President Trump was talking about. But the media, of course, spun it as though he's an idiot. You remember they did that with Reagan. They tried to make him out, well, he's just a bumbling old cowboy. That's how the media spun it with Reagan. They tried to make fun of Bush in the same way. They tried to make him out to be an idiot as well. That's what the media does. They have no respect for anyone who has our beliefs, and they will take anything that you say or do, and they'll try to spin it and just paint you as an idiot or as a racist or as a homophobe or whatever, regardless of the truth. But you know what? People are catching on. They are starting to pay attention. They're seeing other websites and other places that they can find views. And that's why the media is now, as I said, screaming in their coffins. They don't have the ratings. They're dying. They're dying, and it's a good thing.
The author of the new book, Good Guys with Guns at Home, a lovely lady, a lawyer, writer, and reporter at Politicheck, Susan Swift. God bless you. Come back soon. I love having you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Deb.
All right, take care.
God bless.
All right, thank you. Very, very nice lady right there. Susan Swift, and I'm going to have her back in a couple of days. I'm going to try to get a copy of that book, read it, and then we'll have another report on it. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness, we got to get the weather forecast on here. And the weather is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Number to call, 324-7657. Scarrows Meats, Don Scarrow and the crew, locally owned custom meat processor for over 20 years. Here's Gina with the weather.
Expect more wet weather as we move through the week. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are in a flood warning that is going to be in effect at least until noon. They could extend that as we do have more rain showers in the forecast for at least the next 2 days. Today we're looking at 50% chance of rain showers, winds out of the south right around 17 miles an hour, high of 49, tonight low of 43. Tomorrow, yes, more rain showers, about a 50% chance. Plus, the winds are going to be picking up to about 25 miles an hour out of the southwest, warming up to 51, overnight low of 32. Cloudy and about 40 for Wednesday. Winds dying down just a little bit. Then we are expecting snow showers for Thursday and a high of 34. That is your weather on this President's Day for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow, what a forecast. Hey, thanks, Gina. Brought to you this hour by Scarrows Meats. Delicious. 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody that the 22nd annual bull sale for the Sheridan Ranch is going to be on Saturday, March 4th. Sale starting at 1 p.m. p.m. Don't miss it. It is always a ripping good sale with the best of bulls, and I'll tell you what, you don't want to miss it. Cordell and Patty Sheridan, they've been friends of ours for a long time, and believe me, when they go to town with these bulls, you're going to be a chance to buy some of the best. Lunch is going to be provided at noon. 85 bulls are going to sell. Free delivery up to 300-mile radius of this area. 22nd annual bull sale put on by the Sheridan Ranch on March 4th. Don't you miss it, starting at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Auction Yard. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Quickly.
Yes, good morning. This is Keith Ramsey.
Well, hello, my friend.
The program with George Worrell. It reminded me of 33 years ago when we had the same problem. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Little Theater at the King Fine Arts, we are actually having a review of what happened 33 years ago.
Okay.
Rex Jarrett will be speaking. He was in large part, a big part of all of the canal building, the flood, with the civil engineer people and so forth. And I am showing a 17-minute video of footage that I took 33 years ago. This program, which should be very interesting to most of the people here in the Mini-Cassia area. The
Absolutely.
program is February 21st, which is Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the King Fine Arts Little Theater.
You know, Keith, call me tomorrow morning, first hour. We'll hit it again as a reminder, but God bless you for your call. I'm almost out of time, but I certainly appreciate it, and we'll hit it again tomorrow morning.
I'll call you after the program.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you much. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody about 65 years. Les Schwab Tire Centers. That's right. Their business is earning your trust. They're having their founders celebration right now in honor of Mr. Les Schwab. What a great gentleman he was, and what a fantastic business he started. The Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, doing the right thing matters. 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. All the traction tires. They've got tires for every driving need. All the brake service, all the front end alignments, the shocks, the struts, the batteries. You be sure and get a hold of them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller, I have exactly 1 minute. That's all. Go ahead, please.
Well, Zeb, quickly, it's something that I did some refiguring on. You know how we try to recharge the aquifer at 250,000 acre feet a year?
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, we did 75,000 acre feet. Last year, we did 66,000 acre feet. And this year, God gave us, if you take the square miles of Idaho at 82,751, and each square mile has 640 acres, that's 52,960,640 acre feet of water. Now, we know that the state of Idaho was covered in snow completely this year, and we know for a fact that we've had at least an acre-foot of water seep into the ground throughout the entire state, and in some cases, one hell of a lot more than that. So God has provided us 52 million acre feet of replenishment of our aquifer. It's a positive.
Wow. I'm telling you what, you should have been my math teacher in high school. I wouldn't have had as many problems as I did. Thanks, Randy. God bless you, man. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Hey, that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up, put it back in the box until tomorrow morning at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch right here on KBAR, 1230 a.m., streaming live on the internet all over the world, zebbell.com. God bless you and your family, and remember, the way things were, the way things ought to be. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:06.